Hello.
Hit me.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now. Let me just turn you up.
Good. Right, great. Let me know if I'm just using the old headset, so let me know voice if you can't hear me.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Should be good now. Can you see everything all right? Can you see the screen?
Shit. Sorry, that's not very professional. Sorry, how would I find that?
You should be able to just click on the classroom in Discord, and the screen should come up.
Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. I'm on there.
All right, cool. Well, if you're ready to start, I'm ready to start whenever.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So this is going to be a lesson with Molten via Cohen's Academy. What do you prefer to go by the way, Molten, or do you have something else that you prefer?
Molten's fine.
Molten's cool. All right. So got a little presentation here. I think this is going to help a lot with like structure and going through things. And I've got little graphics because otherwise I'll get bored when I'm making it. So what you're looking for is to improve in the Fox matchup, right?
Yeah.
And aggression versus Fox as well.
Yeah, kind of stopping him from just sort of running in and doing what he wants.
Could you define aggression a little bit more?
As in, I feel sometimes like even if there's kind of significant sort of like distance between me and Fox, I don't feel confident in kind of well, this is what he's going to do, and therefore I should do this option. I
Yeah.
kind of feel sometimes like I have to sort of take perfect options where either I run away or I throw out a move or I shield or something. You see what I mean? I don't feel very confident.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of feel like you're on the back foot.
Yeah, in effect.
Okay.
I've sort of looked into labbing this myself, but a second opinion would be useful.
Okay. And you also mentioned consistency and mentality. Would you be able to just like touch on those a little bit?
I feel like I sort of fall apart quite a lot, or it's almost like if I go to tournaments, like a coin flip. Either do my mindset will be in a really good place, and I'll feel really confident, and I'll do really well, and then other times where even just from game one of pools, I'll be almost kind of like just really stressed, almost kind of dizzy from the stress.
Yeah.
Really a lot of sort of negative talk going on in my head. There's a clear kind of delineation where the tournaments where my head's in a good place, I tend to do. I've got there's some results I'm really proud of, and I think do show what I know I can do. Then there's just as many though where sort of the opposite's true, because I feel like mentally I sort of fell apart.
Right. Do you feel like consistency and your mentality are sort of linked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1-to-1.
All right. Well, this is just a little overview here. We're gonna like try and target them one by one rather than talking about them all at once. So if that sounds good to you, then we can continue whenever you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Awesome. So we'll touch on goals a little bit as well. So you want to become UK PR in the next 2 years, which I think is a very solid long-term goal. And I think it's good that if we can break this down into short and mid-term goals as well, because just having long-term is gonna like not keep your motivation going the entire time. Do you have any idea about goal setting, or have you done any of this yourself already?
I've given it some thought, but not too successfully.
Okay. Do you understand why short-term and mid-term goals are useful?
Do you mean as in a sense, as a sort of a motivational thing where you can sort of tick off a series of steps rather than
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps like your perspective in place as well, like what you're actually working on. So yeah, we'll try and like all the stuff we're talking about will fill into this as well. Oops. Okay. So we're going to be talking about stopping aggression, and I'll just talk about like a few different concepts. Feel free to stop me whenever you want to ask questions, and also like if you feel like you know this already, we can move on as well. I'm not sure how long this will take, but we'll do this first, and then we can look into analyzing the set that you sent me. That works for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So the first main thing I want to talk about is threat ranges. So as you can see from the picture here, it's like a little heat map of all of Fox's options at a shield.
Sorry to interrupt. I can't see the graphic.
Oh, you can't see?
No.
Can you see it now?
No, all I can see is kind of white rectangle with your icon.
That is interesting. Are you sure you're clicked on the classroom in Discord? And you can see like my
TimeMuffin
picture,
alpaca basket. Yeah.
but you can't see the screen.
No.
I'll stop and start and see if that works.
Okay.
Does that do anything?
I'll drop out as well and jump.
Yeah, try that. Any luck there?
I still can't really see anything. So I've clicked classroom and then muffin. Kind of the big grey rectangle icon, and then on the right I see everyone else's.
Yeah, there should be two screens for me. Not entirely sure how to fix this. Try a different classroom.
So are you going to jump into another one?
Yeah, we can try that, sure. Does that work?
No.
No, okay. Are you like focused in on one person maybe?
As in on your one?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't give me any indication that you're streaming.
That is really strange.
Don't know if anyone else is watching could chip in.
Yeah, that'd be cool. There's an option at the top right where you can change like into like a grid mode. Does that do anything for you?
No. Yeah, I'll put in double tap on the display window. R23 says. Oh, I'll get my phone out there. Bear with.
Yeah, this is my first time doing this, so I wasn't really expecting technical issues.
So I've just got my phone. I'll see if I can do it on my phone. But yeah, for some reason my laptop.
Yeah, give that a go. It'll just take some fiddling.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. No, it's working. I've just switched over to my phone, so that's.
Oh, it's working now. Great. Cool.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So good. All right. So yeah, stopping aggression, and we're talking about threat ranges. So how familiar are you with this concept?
Reasonably, I'd say.
Okay. Could you give me what your definition of it is?
As in different parts of the screen or different parts of the stage relative to the attacker that they can get to, sort of within different periods of time.
Okay. Seems like a fair definition. So mine would be what you should be looking out for long, mid, and short range versus your opponent, but also like how quick the move is and if you can actually react to it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay. So also, I think it changes based on the opponent's positioning and their character speed. And I would probably refer to that as their burst range. So, like, for example, if it's a fox, then his burst range is going to be like how close he is to you with his nair.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And if we're in a position where we can react, then like how should we respond to that? And 17 frames is a rough reaction time as well. So there's certain moves where there is easier to react, obviously. Like moves like smaller startup will be more difficult.
Okay.
And do you feel like you're doing this subconsciously as well? Do you feel like you're always keeping track of a threat range?
Yeah, to some degree, though, as you're describing it, I probably not as much as I could be.
Mm-hmm. There should be some moments if you feel like you're dealing with aggression that they've broken through your threat range.
Mm.
Do you feel like that happens often?
Sorry, I lost your voice for a second.
That's all right. Yeah, do you feel like there's just points in the game where a fox has maybe just broken through your threat range?
Yeah, and I'll just eat a random up smash or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that's because you aren't keeping track of it, or do you feel like you know it's coming but you just haven't picked the right option?
Yeah, a bit of both probably. So you said we'd look at a set. Was that the one against
Raul, yeah.
Raul, yeah. So there's one point. I think it's game 2. He ends just by running up and up smashing me. So I think with that as an example, like I knew there was an opening that I'd created. So it's like I don't know. So yeah, a bit of both. Sort of, I don't quite know how to stop that, and then also, I think I'm not managing the sort of how I'm operating around his threat ranges as well as I could.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just keep going through like these concepts pretty slowly, so you have some things to think about, and then we can maybe bring that into the set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a moment in that set where I thought threat range was pretty apparent, where you're throwing this projectile, and it's Yoshi's story, so it's tiny. Like even while Fox is, see if I can use the pointer. Well, Fox is even here. Like this is quite close. He can punish you from this distance. Do you feel like you recognized this at the time, or even afterwards?
So sorry, could you just say that again?
Yeah, sure. Do you feel like you recognized that Rill was in a threat range here for you?
So I can't quite remember what leads up to that, but from what I can remember, the boomerang was more kind of, I recognize as in. So I was out of so if you look where he jumped from, I recognized, I think, that I wasn't going to get hit necessarily by anything without him taking the time to approach. So the boomerang was more like to try and stop him from closing that gap.
Right. I think
comes after.
I think a big concept about projectiles is how committal they are. Like you're completely stopped here for this amount of time, however long boomerang startup is, but it's pretty long, and you can't really do anything while that's happening. So if the boomerang misses, they can hard punish you here, and I'm pretty sure that's what Raul does. He just like jumps over and uppers you or something.
Okay.
But yeah, we can look into more about projectile stuff. But we'll keep moving on here to character archetypes. I think this is kind of relevant because Young Link is a bit of a different character compared to most of the top tiers. So, how does your character archetype change how you respond to aggression? Young Link is like mobile and annoying to catch, so I think you have to play around that a lot, and you have to like remember that in a sort of big picture sense that Fox is like trying to catch you. One of the main things that I noticed is aerial drift and speed, like from watching Axe, and how he used that to his benefit. and I didn't really notice you doing that as much.
Okay.
Do you have
Would you
any
mind?
opinions on that?
No,
Sorry,
no, I
what
was
were you
going
going
to
to
say
say?
that sounds very valid. I was just going to say if, as and when they come up, if you could point those situations out during the set, that'd be really useful.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. But yeah, my general. So I feel like, I agree. He's a very sort of mobile character, but I do sometimes feel when I'm playing against good foxes that they're just doing that better than me, or they just have better tools for doing that. In the sense that he has higher run speed, sort of generally quicker frame data, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'll bear that in mind though.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're getting at. Fox does feel very impressive because of his speed and such, but Young Link does have his advantages in his size and like the tools he has, but especially in his aerial drift, I think that's like the most important way for him to pressure Fox.
Okay.
And yeah, Puff like can deal with aggression by slowing down the pace. That's just an example of like how another character might deal with it. So the best defense is a good offense. I think this is a good concept because I noticed you going to the corner quite a lot, especially
Yeah.
on smaller stages. But I think that's because you're not exactly sure how you want to deal with the aggression, right?
Yeah. So,
Were you going to say something there?
no, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, I think you're right because with bigger stages, like I feel more even if I don't know it perfectly, I feel more comfortable in the position where they're, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, go on. I think yeah, you've said I'm just not that comfortable in aggression.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, pushing your own advantage is just as important to stop yourself from being pushed around. Do you feel like you understand the concept of how offense can be a good defense?
Yeah,
Yeah, you think that's
I think
pretty
so.
solidified.
I think so. Yeah, I've been. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
sorry. Um, but yeah, I think this is just important because it makes them earn your respect, and it means that they can't just like be aggressive when they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll talk about Young Link's tools now a little bit. Uh, Obviously, I'm not a complete Young Link expert, but had a look at some things, and hopefully I'll be able to suggest something. So his jab, I think, is really important for dealing with Fox. I know you mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of situations do you like to use jab in?
So against Fox specifically, so kind of if I catch them maybe acting out of shield or something, or so kind of what's the word, like stopping kind of grounded approaches, maybe a running up smash, sort of JC grab, that sort of thing.
Mm.
Because it's so I was looking into the numbers on this. The So, for example, Young Link's tipper jab is as on your slide, like technically frame negative, but given they'd have to then spend say 13 frames to wave dash in or something,
Yeah,
it ends up being a good tool for sort of stopping them coming in. It can stop some short hop approaches as well, but that's very sort of iffy. So it depends on the exact sort of hitbox you hit them with and sort of where their hurt boxes are, which can
right.
vary. But yeah, in that general sense, if they're going to come in and I could sort of predict where they're going to be when, then it can be a good few percent of damage and stop their sort of put up that wall
Yeah, that makes sense.
separately.
I think it's also particularly good because it stops Fox in his tracks. It means that he can't move when you hit him,
Mm.
and it lets you start your pressure as well. But I think you covered that pretty well, I would say.
Okay.
Um,
When you say sorry, if you don't mind,
no problem.
so when you say start, that might be in a situation for me to start my pressure. How would you see that happening? Because if I land those jabs and say I come in with, I don't know, down smash or whatever, short hop there, my impression generally is that that's risky because that loses to, he's in a perfect position to shine or to anything with the frame advantage to do that.
What if you jab?
As in, just jab again.
He
So I
shouldn't be
landed the
able to
jab.
shine you if you jab. If you're talking about like a shield situation, or do you mean just like on hit?
Just on hit or something.
Okay.
That's what I thought. Did you mean more on shield? And so if I go on.
Yeah, I meant more on shield, but also like if you're meaning on hit
Okay.
as well, he shouldn't be able to shin you out unless he's like hard reading your jab and he's able to CC in advance. But I think that's the good thing about jab is that it isn't reactable. You can't reactively shin you.
Okay. I meant more on the, as in, so say I jab and then I've kind of won that situation. I then come in with something. So it's that the action after the jab that I don't feel confident on.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Well, that's when your mix up started. So it totally depends on a lot of factors. I would say the percent is the main factor. Like, are you going to knock him down, or are you going to read his jump? Is like it depends on the reaction at shield. I think it would be better for us to talk about that during the set, if that's okay, just so we can
no, of course.
focus on whatever we're talking about. So aerial drift as well is essential to staying safe. I've mentioned this a few times, but I just think this is going to be kind of a common theme. Because Young Link is like one of the only fast characters with like crazy drift. And counter hits, swift punishes, anti-airs. Do you think you could list them?
Sorry, I lost your voice for a second.
It's okay. Talking about counter hits with punishes and anti-airs, would you be able to like talk about some of them that you think are relevant?
Yeah, in any specific situation or just
list what you think are good options, like what come up the most.
Against Fox.
Against Fox,
that's really good. Yeah, short hop up air tends to be any sort of full hop option he does. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's quite a there's a wide answer to that.
Quite a loaded question. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then there's lots of different situations where I'd give different options.
Right. Okay, that's fine. We can skip that part. So yeah, using hitboxes that range and quick start up to deal with offensive opponents. So could you name one or two like hitboxes that you feel have big range and quick start
up? Yeah, jabs frame 6, down smashes frame 8. Something I've been playing with is kind of reverse up tilt. So if I do something like landing, so for example, I've been looking at Captain Falcon a lot recently. So things like landing fair should be +0, or even sort of double jabs, and then do that into turnaround up tilt has kind of a huge disjoint kind of over the back of his head.
Yep. I assume that has less lag as well because you're hitting with the back hit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sets up for good combos as well that sort of knock down percents.
I find it interesting that you didn't happen to mention Nair or back air.
Yeah, those as well.
Because I think those should be your absolute go-to hitboxes at range, especially if you're trying to wall someone out.
Yeah.
So I think we can maybe pick up on that in your set as well. Spots that you should maybe use Nair or back air more. If you agree with that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, great. And like I mentioned before about projectiles, they're massive commitments. It's like whenever you throw your rang or pull a bomb, it should be an absolutely like conscious decision. So got this little clip of Axe here.
Yeah.
You can see how.
I'm not sure.
Can you not see it?
So for me, it's still on Young Link's tools.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can fix that. Sometimes just coming out and coming back in seems to work. Can you see that?
Should I leave it? No, I'll drop off and back up.
Yeah, try that, sure.
Yeah, there we go.
You see it now, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like sort of this last moment here. It just like his movement is very unpredictable.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think movement and unpredictability is pretty important for dealing with aggression because disguising your intention is important so they can't just force their way in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying you're uncomfortable in some situations as well, so I'd recommend doing sort of simulations like shadowboxing and 20xx or something. So you would set up like a fox to do whatever aggressive option you've been losing to, and you can try and
Mm-hmm.
come up with like multiple ways to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really good way to theory craft because you're not under any pressure, right? While that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And also like moves that you're quite like confident in using, try and use them in ways that you're not used to using them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll like use a nair at the same time every way, the same timing, or whatever, and that'll be like a habit that you're used to, but you want to try and break that habit and try and do a slightly different timing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I noticed that we're kind of short on time, so I'm gonna skip past this part, and we're gonna talk about consistency real quick, and then we can take a look at your set if that works for you.
Yeah, of course.
Right, awesome. So, what is consistency? Uh, so I think it's about making your average level of play happen often, which is your B game. Are you familiar with A, B, and C game?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Have you read the Mental Game of Poker?
yeah. Yes.
Yes, you
I'll give
have.
it another read though.
Okay, so you're sort of familiar with this concept. So it is not possible to play your best every time. Uh, I think that's important to know because you can't just expect that to happen every time. So it helps you understand
Mm-hmm.
consistency as a whole, and it is not possible to avoid playing your worst either. And your
Mm-hmm.
B game is a constantly moving target, and you can be consistent and still not win. So keep all those things in mind when you're considering consistency. You think that makes sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, no. Makes perfect sense.
Okay. And how do we play it on our B game more often as well? So I think solidified game plan is very important. Do you feel like you have a game plan for each character?
Um, yeah, to a greater or lesser extent, kind of.
Okay.
Uh,
Go on.
as in, so for example, like so Captain Falcon is another matchup I've been working on recently.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I've got a good solid on for that. So you pretty much kind of suffocate Captain Falcon, make sure he doesn't. He sort of wins if he's given the mobility and the freedom to sort of run around. That's when he wins. But then I will then win if I can get him to either shield or jump, pretty much. So
Right.
that's it. Kind of stop his aggression, make sure I stick close to him. Because Young's got some really good tools actually for
Okay.
stopping Captain Falcon doing that. And then I guess Fox is sort of a similar but less well defined uh, plan. So that'd be a good point for me to work on, I guess.
Okay. So you feel like your Fox game plan maybe isn't as solidified as your Falcon one.
No.
Any ideas to why that is? Is it related
Um,
to the dealing with the aggression mainly?
yeah, I think it's just like I don't feel I understand the options he's going to take, the decision making he's going to kind of use to sort of. I don't feel confident there's a one-to-one link between him doing X and me then doing Y. Do you see
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So if
No.
he runs in with up smash, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So I've been looking at this, but I've not found perfect answers yet. I don't think.
I like the way you outlined your Falcon game plan. Like you had win conditions of both characters kind of sought out. Do you think you could list win conditions for Young Link and Fox?
Um, that's tricky. So again, so I think Fox probably has two. One is make me overextend and then hard punish me for that, or the other is him rush in, kind of overcome my defense, um, and again sort of punish me for that. Um, Yeah, I guess the young Link maybe more. Yeah, I guess just stop him kind of sitting at either of those poles. Either stop him kind of laser camping me back, or stop him running in. So kind of sitting in that middle area of keeping him at kind of like Marth, kind of keeping him at tipper range, but then also I don't know. I think I need to give this more thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little vague at the moment, but that's fine because I feel like you should have a sort of general game plan that you can look back at and refer to so you can have an idea of what you want to do. But I think you should come up with win and lose conditions for each character, but also like the exact moves that they use to get these conditions, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the moves that are going to give them big rewards and that you should be watching out for in neutral.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm probably going to jump out of here and we can look at your set.
Yep. Okay.
All right, can you see that all right?
No, I can still see the slides. I'll drop out for a second there.
Yeah, no problem.
No, on your stream I can just see the slides still.
I can probably fix that. There we go. Is that all right?
There we go. Yep.
Okay. Let me just get my notes up. Okay. So one of the main things I noticed from this set was your tech chase flowchart from Grab. Do you have a sort of flowchart with your Grab, or is it sort of improv at the moment?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that last bit.
Do you have a tech chase flowchart from your Grab, or is it like improv? Like you're improvising it?
So there is one. So if I get a grab at sort of 0 to around sort of 30ish, sort of the best young Link can hope for is down throw into tech chase. And again, I don't think I think you have to then make quite a hard read in that situation. From sort of 30, so from 30 upwards, he gets this. So you can start covering sort of 3 or even 4 tech options with things like down smash to cover, sort of say miss tech and tech in place, and then the backswing would hit the him sort of teching behind, but sort of until that percent, you can ASDI down or whatever. And then kind of as you get higher than that, you want to start doing up throws into down, up throws into down air, up throws into sort of
Okay.
kind of until around 130, 100, well, more like until around 140, 150. Then you want to start down throwing there, things like that.
Yep.
But there is one. I'd say the bit I'm most unclear on is sort of 0 to 30.
0 to 30. Okay, so early percents.
Yeah. Just because. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it seems quite hard for Young Link to actually reaction tech chase from Grab. Do you know if this has been labbed or anything like that?
I think the consensus is generally it's hypothetically possible, but you have to pretty much react on a specific frame. So certainly harder than like Falcon or Sheik. Borderline possible at best.
Yeah, it seems like you might have to take some risks. But I bring this up because you mentioned consistency, and I think Punish Game is probably how you can increase your consistency quite a lot at the moment. Especially like with a character that's not going to give you everything for free punish wise. So I think it's going to be really important that you optimize like each and every percent, especially against Fox, which is going to be like one of your hardest matchups and most common matchups. Yeah, I also wanted to ask, why did you go to Yoshi's here as well?
It's a good question. So I find the stage I would go to will depend largely on sort of what style the Fox is. So if they're likely to camp or take them to somewhere like Yoshi's. But again, it's tricky because again, I think while there are different stages do offer different advantages to Young Link, Fox will generally kind of benefit at least just as much. So sort of don't know how I'm feeling on the day or sort of what my understanding is of their playstyle.
Right. It's almost just as difficult to deal with like a camping fox as it is an aggressive fox, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, in effect. Like, I do think Fox has both those options. So if by taking them to a small one, you can at least stop them camping. Like they have to either attack or sort of give me the opening to be aggressive.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we'll play through a little bit of this. So, I noticed you pulled a bomb here.
Hmm.
I felt like this was incredibly risky to do it this way. Could you explain
Hmm.
your thought process a bit here?
Um, it's a good question. I'm not quite sure. So I think so a low percent young link. So bomb is one of his few options for doing significant damage and creating openings. So
Okay,
I often
so,
just try and be
so
sort of
sorry,
ambiguous.
sorry to interrupt you, but would you consider
No, no,
that
go on.
a win condition?
Landing bombs.
Yeah, or pulling a bomb?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like it's the one thing that will stop a fox in his tracks, pretty much, especially at low percent.
Okay, yeah, continue with what you're saying.
So I often just try to be sort of ambiguous with where I'm going to go to pull the bomb. So the options, so the options I'd go for generally boil down to kind of full hop, pull the bomb in some way, and then either wave land, sort of in or out, that sort of thing. Maybe jump to a platform or pulling a bomb. Um, so as in with a situation to avoid being just standing there to pull the bomb, but kind of requiring a bomb to some degree.
Yeah.
So even yeah, sorry, go
Um,
on.
I think I would disagree with this option just because
Yeah.
coming back to consistency here,
Mm.
I wouldn't consider this a consistent option because it's kind of reactable, just bomb pulling itself. And it's one of the
Mm.
things a good Fox player is going to be looking out for. And
Mm-hmm.
the risk reward that's going on here, like the win condition for you is you're going to throw a bomb and you might get some damage. Fox could probably kill you from this if he gets an up air.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like,
As in, at 0%, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
or he's gonna get a big punish, right? And you're gonna get
Yeah.
a small punish. So I think just thinking about like your win condition and how you want to make that happen, especially like with pulling such a committal projectile,
Mm-hmm.
like I would probably never pull a bomb on this stage unless you've got a really good chance, like the fox is already in a juggle state or something. You feel like a bomb would be a good choice, but fox could
Mm-hmm.
almost punish you at any point in this stage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that makes sense, or do you disagree with any of it?
No, no, I understand where you come from. Like, it is a big commitment. I'm not sure if I'm right here, but my gut reaction, my gut feeling is that like Young Link sort of has to take the risk because without bomb, kind of, I'm not quite sure what I'd be doing otherwise.
Okay.
But yeah.
Um, well, I would still mention that the risk reward is not really worth it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not even like a good risk, in my opinion, on a smaller stage. But
Okay.
if you're thinking like that, you could find situations where this win condition could come up more often. So if you were
Mm-hmm.
to pressure Fox in the right way, where he would maybe back off, and then you could find the right timing to pull a bomb, that would make sense, I think.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would make sense.
Okay, right, we won't linger on that too long, but I thought I'd mention it. Because he
Yeah.
does, he does get a drill shine here,
Mm-hmm.
which could have been bad news. And also just like holding a bomb reduces your options too. This was good though. I'm not sure if this was intentional what you did with the bomb here, but it was cool.
Oh, the hitting him with it as it came down. No.
Oh, okay, that just sort of happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this is where I noticed you got a grab, and you didn't really have an exact flowchart you followed. You sort of looked away, and then you didn't get a punish off it.
Mm.
Do you feel like you had a plan here, or
Um, That's a good point. So I mean, I guess the options Young would have would either be another grab, which is risky, or say a down tilt, or I don't know, I guess maybe that could be a situation where I sort of get the down throw while he's teching, I then pull a bomb.
Yeah, that could be a situation where you could do that. Like if you feel there not a good risk reward punish here at this percent. My suggestion here, from the amount of time I've messed around with the Young Link, is you can react pretty well to tech rolls with grab, but you can't react well to tech in place. So it's sort of a 50-50 of going for either of those. But if you're going to go for tech in place, you should make it at least a hard punish.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So something that's going to be rewarding.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe so 0% anyway, I guess.
It's 0%, yeah, lower percents.
Down tilt will probably be the play there, I guess.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe like down tilt, down smash. You could jab to reset the situation, maybe, or like falling up air, or even just like a space nair. I think those would maybe be some options to play around with.
Yeah, so I should have, had I played that set now, I think I would have jabbed there where I took.
You would have jabbed,
sort of example.
Like here.
Yeah, so yeah. Catch him presumably shielding or going to jump squat or dashing or something after landing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Jab would be a good option here.
Yeah.
And then you get punished for this up tilt trying to anti-air. You think you maybe would have up aired here instead?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a flub or something, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. So you feel like maybe this wasn't a conscious decision?
Yeah, that might have been. I'm not sure what that was.
I think in this situation as well, a feedback nair could have been good as well.
But to catch him coming down?
Yeah, to just like protect yourself.
Okay.
You tech roll away here. This is a good nair to cover yourself. Yeah, that was the image where we were talking about threat ranges.
Yeah.
You can see he's just able to jump right on you here. This situation as well, attacking platforms, this comes up quite a lot. I noticed you tried to like fade back here, but he was still able to punish you from the platform with shield drop fair. So I think it's important to make sure you're using your drift in these sort of situations as well. Instead of this being a situation where you're in an advantage, your opponent's just turned it into his. And yeah, this is kind of unfortunate as well. But I think you could maybe work on your recovery mix-ups more as well. Yeah. Make your opponent have to work harder, especially on a stage like Yoshi's, where you could maybe drop down and wall jump, potentially, would be my suggestion.
Yeah, there are definitely mix-ups there. But...
Instead of just... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this is something I've been looking at as well, sort of over the last few months. Like, that definitely wasn't sort of the best thing Young Link could have done there.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be beneficial to just take like 10 minutes or so just working on some recovery stuff, just in training mode or something, and then just seeing if it works in game. I noticed you doing this a lot as well, especially during your invincibility, where you would throw a boomerang, but it usually wouldn't hit. I feel like using your invincibility, especially on a stage like this, is kind of important, because potentially you could have read his double jump or his movement with an up air and been able to start a big punish. I feel like that is potentially missed opportunity rather than just throwing out your projectile. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, okay. And this was kind of a recurring theme as well. I felt like that you were trying to read options that Ro was like not choosing, because you notice here you try and pressure him with this empty hop, and then you look for a roll. But throughout the entire set, Ro kind of sits in shield and just abuses shield a lot, but you never sort of adapt to it, and you keep sort of picking the same option. Did you feel like you were conscious of this? Conscious of this at the time?
No, I don't think so. I can't remember the option I was trying to cover there, but
you were definitely looking for roll here for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of important, especially in the game one of a set, to not instantly go for reads all the time. I think you want to scout your opponent out a little bit, and I think you could do that in this situation with your jab, then dash back, and then try and get the information on what they like to do at a shield.
Okay, that makes sense.
If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So this was a situation where this Nair was sort of unsafe, I think. You did this rising there, but you also just drift very close to him. Like you're very much in his threat range right now with this double jump as well. Would you consider grab a win condition versus Fox?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is there any percents where maybe it wouldn't be?
So generally not below sort of 30-ish.
Okay.
But from above that percentage, you generally get like Younglink will get follow-ups or a kill off the throw. Generally, 30, 35 above.
All right. So could we maybe come up with a different low percent game plan then that doesn't involve grab? So, for example, you're trying to build them to 30% or so then you can start looking for grab. And you want to build that percent in a safe way. So, how do you think you would do that?
So things like bomb, where safe, jabs, boomerangs to a lesser extent. Things like short hop, up air if they full hop, that sort of thing. But I'm not very confident.
You're not very confident in what, sorry?
Just in that general sort of situation, it's a bit sort of like I'm aware of several different things I could do, but I don't necessarily have a flow chart or kind of a game plan that's as fleshed out as it could be.
That's okay. That's just what we're looking to build at the moment. I think if you could maybe just focus on building percent to 30, and just experimenting with options that let you consistently do that, I think that'll help. And maybe just not going for grab at this low percent, because it's just not worth it, right? Is there any like particular moments in this game that you want to talk about, by the way?
Not specific ones, no.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can see you're much more confident at the mid-high percents with your grab follow-ups.
I think that was meant to be an edge cancel, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was definitely meant to be one. I liked it though. F-tilt was good.
That's good for hitting Fox at ledge.
Yeah, so you get a big punish off that bomb, to be honest, for not having to do very much. And Fox is almost at 30% at this point. Yeah, it was a good fadeaway there. I think the grab just put you to riskiest situation here.
Yeah.
Yep, this was a good punish. And this gives you a bomb as well when he's invincibility, I suppose, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you get another bomb here, but he starts using lasers, which seems like quite a big problem for Younglink. Fortunately, you choose the wrong throw here as well.
Yeah, that was just a missed input. It should always be down through loops.
Yep.
And with that bomb, so I don't know how clear I made it before, but that's what I meant before by like picking a moment, sort of, and like a ambiguous moment to sort of pull a bomb.
Right. Just finding timings where it feels like you might go in, so you can get a bomb right.
Yeah. Jump shield.
Yeah, it feels like here you're maybe not respecting his pressure so much. Because Fox is on top plat here. And you grab very, very preemptively.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not really controlling your zone here. Like, what's the best way for you to react to Fox being on top platform at 16%? Do you want to go into the corner? Or do you want to find a way to pull a bomb maybe? Because it seems like he's playing more defensive in this spot.
Yeah, probably, yeah. If I can't, I don't know, dash dance to make him come down with an aerial, then yeah, I guess pull a bomb. But yeah, I'm not sure what that grab was necessarily.
Yeah, that's okay. And then here you also jump out instantly. I think in some spots, when you're being pressured by Fox, you do have to wait a little bit for your turn. Because right now it's Fox's turn while he's pressuring your shield, and you're in the corner. You may have to wait just like a little bit in your shield and then roll out. Like, roll is very effective because it doesn't get punished unless they precisely cover that option. And jumping out is probably the risky option here.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have grabbed jabbed there.
Yeah, that's good that you're noticing when you should be using certain options. Okay, so you get a grab here. So dash attack, probably not the correct option, since he was able to ASDI it. So I would say you should probably reaction tech chase the grab here, if you want to cover rolls. But you could also go for a low risk option with down smash, since you'd be able to cover all the options and still be relatively safe. Okay, so how did you get this punish here? It was a bomb, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And Fox also off stage here, which lets you do this. So I think that should definitely be in your win conditions, is to have Fox off stage.
Mm-hmm.
and it's only going to be possible at this sort of percent as well. Because I think if he's low percent, it's quite hard to gimp him. Or is that wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, low percents. You have to get something. Yeah, you have to commit to something like a down tilt or I don't know, back throw, jab, cheese. Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
there aren't. It's not a really easy situation.
So is there any other ways at this sort of mid percent we can get Fox off stage other than bomb?
Um, I mean, so sort of a 40-50%, that sort of percent.
Yeah, roughly around there.
I mean, kind of up throw nair is a solid one. It's a down smash.
Yeah, down smash seems a good one. And to set up
Mm.
down smash, you could probably get that from grab, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that would probably be a good thing to look for around that percent
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing like the 50-50 from grab. You can specifically look for down smash at that percent, so you could set up some consistent edge guards.
Mm-hmm.
If you would agree with that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, here this was good. This is the same situation as before in the corner where you were being pressured.
Mm-hmm.
But you take it a lot more slowly. But I think also you stay here a little too long in the corner as well. Because we were talking about before how offense is the best defense. I feel in the corner, you need to come out attacking quite a lot to make them respect your space.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything in particular you would recommend?
Uh,
As in, so so what I notice now watching that is like pretty much anything I do will get ASDI down, unless it's like a projectile or something. So that's kind of whether rightly or wrongly. That's so. For example, I could have maybe gone for like an up air from ledge or something, but it doesn't feel like. I feel like, well, my instincts tell me kind of I have most to gain by keeping the space. So if he's there, maybe try and pull a bomb, or try and hit him with a bomb, as I did. Or do you not think that's right?
you mean like pull a bomb in this situation?
Not that situation necessarily. I meant sort of half a second before what you said. I probably in the corner too long.
Okay.
I meant from ledge, but
Yeah, I mean that's a potential option. I just feel like it's maybe too defensive in this situation. I think you should maybe try and experiment with fighting out the corner more often, even if
yeah,
they might SDI, they might do this. I think you have to make them respect your space first
mm-hmm.
and use your big hitboxes and your aerial drift, like rising there
Mm-hmm.
and then jump away, or like mix up what attack you're doing with like certain timings. I think that can make it really difficult for the opponent to pressure you in the corner.
Okay, yeah, no, rising air, drift back makes sense.
Yeah. Um, I just noticed the time. It's almost about 4. If you want to like, we can like sort of conclude the lesson here.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Um,
Notes.
so do you want to like ask any specific questions about what we've talked about, or maybe you want some tasks to be able to do, like practice? Would that help?
Yeah. I was thinking before some sort of accountability would be good. Where say next month I could come back and say, sort of, I've done this, this, and this, or I've achieved this. I think that'd be useful for me.
Right. Yeah.
So I
Sure.
guess.
Well, we still have a set we can play, so we could get you to work on a few things. One of the suggestions would be building up that game plan, so you have
Mm-hmm.
at least something to work with. Like a bad game plan is better than none, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So building up a game plan would be great. Finding out win conditions that you want to work on at each percent.
Yeah.
Tech chasing would be a good one to lab out, I think. Just like find out exactly what you want to do at each percent. I think those would be some good things to start with. I can probably DM you some stuff since we're a bit short in time here. I wasn't really too sure how like fast things would go here.
No, that's fine. Yeah, if you did have something you could DM me, that'd be really useful.
Yeah. once I've thought about it a little bit more.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
So any other questions or?
No, not really. I think the thing I'm going to go and do now is to, just work on that game plan, sort of what I'm doing,
Yeah,
especially sort of that 0 to 30% range. I think that's a good starting point.
yeah, I would agree. So yeah, thanks for doing this lesson with me. It was good having you
No,
on.
thanks. Thank you. Yeah, no, thanks very much.
Yeah, I really hope it helped.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
All right, cool. So I'll speak to you a bit later. I'll send you some stuff in DMs and whatnot. But yeah, thanks
Yeah,
again.
wonderful. Yeah, no, thanks very much for all your help. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks.